What if I told you there are still towns in America where your Social Security check can cover rent, groceries, and even a night out without requiring a second mortgage or a viral GoFundMe campaign? I know, sounds like a fairy tale in 2026, right? While most people are frantically refreshing retirement calculators and accepting they'll be working until they qualify for a senior citizen discount at their own funeral, there's a quieter reality unfolding in corners of America most people scroll past without a second thought. Real towns, actual functioning communities where $1,000 a month isn't a punchline, it's a legitimate path to financial peace. We're talking median rents under $600, home-cooked dinners for under $10, and property taxes that won't require you to donate a vital organ. But here's what the glossy retirement brochures conveniently forget to mention. Affordable living always comes with conditions. Sometimes it's geographic isolation. Sometimes it's weather so extreme it becomes a personality trait. And sometimes it's a town so intimate that your retirement hobby involuntarily becomes the local gossip network. If you're exhausted by retirement plans that require winning the lottery, hit that like button and subscribe, because one day you might actually need to know these places exist when your 401k sends you a passive-aggressive statement. Today, we're counting down 12 American towns where retiring on $1,000 a month isn't just survivable, it's actually doable, ranked by how surprisingly livable they turn out to be. Think retiring cheap automatically means suffering? Let's find out. Number 12. Fort Scott, Kansas, where $550 rents you peace of mind. Fort Scott will rent you a legitimate two-bedroom house for $550 a month in 2026, and your biggest crisis will be choosing between 7 local diners for breakfast. Sitting in southeastern Kansas with a population around 7,500, Fort Scott radiates classic Midwest small-town energy. This place was a frontier military post in the 1800s, and it still carries that vibe: sturdy, practical, and completely uninterested in impressing anyone. The budget reality. Median rent runs $550 for a two-bedroom house. Groceries about $250 monthly. Utilities might hit $150 in winter. Healthcare is solid with a regional medical center in town. Cost of living sits 28% below the national average. Crime rate is so low that forgetting to lock your door is a legitimate lifestyle choice. What nobody warns you about. Fort Scott is profoundly quiet. Your social calendar will revolve around the library, church potlucks, and the same gentleman at the hardware store who's memorized your coffee order. One retiree on Reddit confessed, "I moved here on a fixed income and haven't stressed about money since. Instead, I've stressed about learning to play euchre, because apparently that's required here." But we need to discuss Kansas wind. It doesn't breeze gently, it attacks with personal vendetta. Your trash cans will achieve escape velocity into Missouri. The summer humidity is thick enough to bottle and market as soup. Still, picture this. You wake up in a house you can actually afford. You stroll to the town square, grab coffee for $2.50, and sit on a bench, while absolutely nothing urgent demands your attention. No debt collectors, no rent panic. Fort Scott isn't sexy, but it's solvent, and sometimes that's the entire point. Number 11. Pittsburg, Kansas. College town perks without the trust fund. Energy. Pittsburg has something most retirement towns desperately lack: a college, which means pizza places that stay open past 8 p.m. For retirees, that's basically luxury living. Home to about 20,000 people, and Pittsburg State University, this town offers just enough energy to feel alive without descending into chaos. You get authentic college town benefits, affordable food, actual culture, real bookstores, without the entitled energy. Budget breakdown. One-bedroom apartments run around $500, two bedrooms closer to $650. Groceries cost $250 monthly. Utilities average $120. Your total monthly cost? Comfortably under $1,000 with room for the occasional beer. Crime rate is moderate but manageable. cost of living sits 24% below the national average. A local retiree admitted they worried about boredom. Turns out they were just tired of being broke. The catch: Pittsburgh isn't Instagrammable. It's functional. You won't get mountain vistas or ocean breezes. But you will get a town that actually works without charging $1,500 just for existing. Kansas weather is possessed. One day it's 70 degrees and sunny. The next, you're in a tornado watch while hail attempts to total your car. Also, prepare for an intimate relationship with Casey's Pizza. By month 3, you'll start dreaming in pepperoni. Picture waking up to birds instead of sirens. You grab breakfast at a diner where the waitress remembers you drink decaf. Your rent is paid, your fridge is full, and your bank account isn't screaming. Compare that to trying to retire in Denver, where $1,000 doesn't even cover a studio with a functional hot plate. Number 10. Parsons, Kansas, where everyone knows your name. Parsons is the kind of town where everyone knows your name. Whether that's comforting or terrifying depends on your personality type. With a population around 9,400, it's small, quiet, and shockingly affordable. This railroad town has existed since the 1870s, and while trains still rumble through, the pace of life definitely doesn't. The breakdown: median rent runs $450 to $550. Groceries average $220 monthly. Utilities cost $100 to $130. Healthcare is available through Labette Health nearby. Entertainment is mostly free: parks, walking trails, community events. Total monthly expenses? Comfortably under $1,000. Crime rate is remarkably low. Cost of living is 30% below the U.S. average. One person wrote online that they retired here from Chicago and their stress evaporated faster than their cable bill. Vanished. The reality: Parsons has trains. Loud trains. They roll through town at all hours. You'll be mid-dream and suddenly a freight train announces itself like it's running for mayor. After a while, you stop noticing, or you invest in earplugs. Also, the town basically shuts down on Sundays. Need milk on Sunday? Plan ahead or befriend someone with a cow. Imagine sitting on your porch at dusk. A neighbor waves from across the street. You have $400 remaining after rent and bills. You're not wealthy, but you're not panicking either. Just calm. Parsons isn't trying to be anything except affordable and steady. Number 9. Cairo, Illinois. Hauntingly cheap, literally. Cairo is so affordable, you could rent an entire house for under $400. The trade-off? You're living in a place that feels like a history exam you forgot to study for. Cairo sits at the southern tip of Illinois, where the Mississippi and Ohio rivers converge. Population dropped from over 15,000 in the 1920s to barely 1,600 today. It's eerie, crumbling, and heartbreakingly cheap. Budget reality: rent for a full house can be under $400. Groceries run about $200 monthly. Utilities around $100. Property taxes are nearly non-existent. Total cost of living means you could retire here on $800 monthly with money left over. Cost of living is 37% below the national average. The emotional equation: you can afford to live here easily, but should you? Cairo is haunted by its own history. Beautiful Victorian houses slowly rotting. Entire blocks abandoned. It's like someone hit pause in 1975 and walked away. Cairo is creepy. Not horror movie creepy, just deeply sad. You'll walk past grand houses with collapsed porches and wonder who lived there, what happened, why everyone left. Also, good luck finding fresh produce. The nearest real grocery store requires driving. Picture this, though. You're sitting by the river at sunset. The water is wide and slow. It's quiet, truly quiet. And you realize you haven't thought about money stress in weeks. Yes, the town is half empty, but your bank account isn't. Sometimes survival beats scenery. Number 8. McAlester, Oklahoma, BBQ, lakes, and budget relief. McAllister is where your retirement budget stops hyperventilating and your biggest worry becomes which barbecue joint to visit on Friday. Sitting in southeastern Oklahoma with a population around 18,000, McAllister radiates Americana small-town vibe. People are friendly, cost of living is reasonable, and if you appreciate barbecue, you're about to have an excellent retirement. Financial breakdown: rent for a 2-bedroom runs $550 or $650. Groceries around $230. Utilities about $110. Healthcare is decent with a regional medical center. Monthly total: easily $950, $1,000 all in. Crime rate is moderate but not alarming. Cost of living is 22% below the national average. You've got grocery stores, pharmacies, doctors, and enough happening that you don't feel isolated. Lake Eufaula is nearby for fishing. One person wrote that they retired here from Dallas. Their blood pressure dropped along with their rent. Oklahoma weather is unhinged. It's not just hot, it's angry. Summer feels like walking into a convection oven filled with mosquitoes. During tornado season, you'll develop a sixth sense for when the sky looks wrong. Also, you'll memorize every menu within 3 months, but the BBQ is legitimately excellent. Imagine sitting on your porch, iced tea in hand, watching the sunset turn the sky purple. You have $200 remaining after bills. You're thinking about fishing tomorrow. No rush, no pressure, just time. Number 7. Van Buren, Arkansas. The Goldilocks option. Van Buren is right across the river from Fort Smith, which means you get small-town prices with big-town access. Sitting along the Arkansas River with a population around 23,000, Van Buren is quietly one of the best-kept secrets in affordable retirement. You're close enough to Fort Smith to access healthcare and shopping, but you live in a smaller, slower, cheaper place. Money talk: 1-bedroom apartments run around $550. 2 bedrooms closer to $700. Groceries about $220 monthly. Utilities roughly $120. Healthcare is excellent. You're minutes from Fort Smith hospitals. Total monthly cost runs $950, $1,000 comfortably. Crime rate is low to moderate. Cost of living is 20% below the national average. People are genuinely polite. The town is walkable with actual activities. Farmers markets, festivals, a decent food scene. One retiree said, "Best decision I made. I can afford to live and still have a life." Van Buren is the Goldilocks option. Not too remote, not too expensive, just right. Arkansas summer is brutal. It's swampy. You'll sweat standing completely still. And the bugs, mosquitoes the size of small drones. Invest in a quality porch fan. Picture waking up in a town where your money actually works. You grab breakfast at a local diner. $6 for eggs, bacon, toast, and coffee. Your rent is paid. Bills are handled, and you're not scared to check your bank account. Van Buren isn't flashy, but it's functional, affordable, and genuinely pleasant. Number 6. Hot Springs, Arkansas. Culture that won't break the bank. Hot Springs is the retirement town that actually has stuff to do, which is shockingly rare on this list. Hot Springs is legitimately famous. It features natural hot springs, a national park, bathhouses from the 1920s, and surprising charm for a town of 38,000. It's also cheap, suspiciously cheap for a place with genuine tourism and culture. Budget math? 1-bedroom apartments run $600, $750. 2 bedrooms, $800, $900. Groceries around $240. Utilities about $130. Healthcare is top tier with multiple hospitals. Entertainment? Tons of free or cheap options. Hiking, the springs, lakes, downtown events. Monthly cost runs $950, $1,050. Crime rate is moderate. Cost of living is 17% below the national average. What sets Hot Springs apart? You won't be bored. There are art galleries, live music, restaurants with actual menus. You can hike in the morning, soak in thermal waters in the afternoon, and catch a show at night. One resident said they moved here expecting to merely survive. Turns out they're actually living. Hot Springs has a tourist trap vibe in summer. Expect crowds and traffic. Downtown parking is a nightmare. Still, imagine retiring somewhere that doesn't feel like giving up. Your rent is under $800. You have health care nearby. You're not isolated or bored. Hot Springs proves you don't have to choose between cheap and interesting. Number 5, Mountain Home, Arkansas. Ozark paradise on a budget mountain home is where retirees go to fish, relax, and spend about $800 a month doing it. Sitting in the Ozarks with a population around 12,500, Mountain Home is basically retirement bingo. Lakes everywhere, rolling hills, clean air, low cost of living, and a pace so slow you'll forget what rush hour even means. Rent details: 1 bedrooms run $500, $650. 2 bedrooms, $650, $800. Groceries about $210 monthly. Utilities roughly $110. Healthcare is solid with Baxter Regional Medical Center. Entertainment is mostly nature, fishing, hiking, boating, all cheap or free. Monthly cost is $900, $1,000 easily. Crime rate is low. Cost of living is 21% below the national average. People here are outdoorsy, friendly, and enthusiastic about fishing. One retiree said they expected to miss the city. What they missed was not being broke. The thing though, Mountain Home is isolated. You're an hour from anything resembling a city. The town itself is small. You'll exhaust new restaurants in about 2 weeks. But picture this, you're sitting by Bull Shoals Lake as the sun rises, coffee in hand. Not a single worry about rent, bills, or money. You spend the day fishing, reading, maybe chatting with a neighbor. Life is simple, slow, and shockingly affordable. You're not surviving. You're actually retired. Mountain Home isn't fancy, but for retirees on $1,000 monthly, it's paradise. Number 4, Brownsville, Texas. Border town budget. Magic? Brownsville is where your retirement dollar stretches further than the Rio Grande. Sitting at the southern tip of Texas on the Mexican border with a population around 186,000, Brownsville is warm year-round, absurdly affordable, and culturally rich. You get Tex-Mex everything, sunshine that doesn't quit, and a cost of living so low it feels like a mistake. Budget breakdown: 1-bedroom apartments run $550, $700. 2 bedrooms, $700, $850. Groceries about $200 monthly, less if you shop across the border. Utilities maybe $100. Healthcare is surprisingly excellent. Entertainment is cheap, beaches, parks, festivals. Monthly total comes to $900, $1,000 comfortably. Cost of living is 25% below the national average. The appeal: proximity to Mexico means you can cross the border for even cheaper groceries, prescriptions, and dental work. Tons of retirees do exactly this. One retiree said they live on Social Security and still have money left over every month. Real talk. Brownsville is hot. Think surface of the sun hot. Summer temperatures regularly hit 100 plus, and humidity makes it feel like you're being steamed. You'll run air conditioning constantly, which spikes your electric bill. Budget for that. Imagine waking up to palm trees and year-round warmth. You walk to a taco stand, $3 for breakfast. You spend the afternoon at the beach, free. Your rent is $650. Your life is full and your bank account isn't crying. Brownsville isn't glamorous, but it's real, affordable, and full of life. Number 3, Dothan, Alabama. Southern comfort on a southern budget. Dothan is the kind of town where your retirement check covers everything and you still have enough left over for the early bird special. With a population around 69,000, Dothan calls itself the peanut capital of the world. It's a small city with southern hospitality, low costs, and genuinely good health care. Financial breakdown: 1 bedroom. Apartments run $550, $700. 2 bedrooms, $700, $850. Groceries about $220 monthly. Utilities roughly $120. Healthcare is excellent. Entertainment is mostly local, parks, community events, decent food scene. Monthly cost $950, $1,000 all in. Crime rate is low to moderate. Cost of living is 19% below the national average. Dothan's big selling point: it's functional. You're not isolated. There are grocery stores, pharmacies, restaurants, doctors, everything you need without the chaos or cost of a big city. One retiree said they can afford to live and still go out to eat twice a week. Let's be honest, Dothan is deeply unapologetically Southern. Everyone is religious, everyone is polite, and everyone has passionate opinions about college football. It's also conservative. If you're coming from a blue city, adjust expectations. Picture this: you're sitting on a porch, sweet tea in hand, chatting with a neighbor who brought you homemade banana bread. Your rent is $650. Life is slow, simple, and affordable. You're not rich, but you're not stressed. Dothan isn't flashy, but it's solid. For retirees, solid beats trendy every time. Number 2, Marion, Indiana. Rust Belt reality, budget relief. Marion is the kind of town that time forgot, which is either tragic or perfect depending on whether you're trying to retire on $1,000 a month. With a population around 27,000, Marion is quintessentially Midwestern small city. It peaked mid-20th century when manufacturing was king. Now it quietly exists with cheap rent, empty storefronts, and retirees who realize they can't afford anywhere else. Budget math: 1 bedrooms run $450 to $600, 2 bedrooms $600 to $750, groceries around $200 monthly, utilities about $110. Healthcare is decent with Marion General Hospital. Monthly cost $850, $950 comfortably. Crime rate is moderate. Cost of living 26% below the national average. Marion isn't thriving, but it's surviving. And for retirees on fixed incomes, that's enough. You get a roof, food, and health care nearby. A retiree said, "I moved here because I had no choice. I stayed because $1,000 actually covers everything. It's not pretty, but it's possible." Let's not sugarcoat it. Marion is depressing in places. Closed factories, boarded windows, streets that feel empty. But there's also quiet resilience. People help each other. The cost of living means you're not drowning. The weather is classic Midwest. Winter is cold, gray, and long. You'll shovel snow and question every life choice. Budget for heating costs because your furnace will run non-stop. Picture waking up in a small house you can afford. You walk downtown, grab coffee at a diner where the waitress knows your order. Your rent is $550. Your bills are paid. You're not thriving, but you're not drowning either. And for many retirees, that's victory. Marion isn't inspiring, but it's honest. Number 1, Fort Payne, Alabama. Mountain views, miracle budget. Fort Payne is where you retire when you're done pretending you need anything other than peace, nature, and rent under $600. Sitting at the edge of Lookout Mountain in the Appalachian foothills with a population around 14,500, Fort Payne is shockingly beautiful, weirdly affordable, and home to the band Alabama. It's small, it's southern, and it's the kind of place where $1,000 a month makes you feel like you're winning at retirement. Financial breakdown: 1 bedrooms run $500, $650. 2 bedrooms, $650 or $800. Groceries about $200 monthly. Utilities roughly $100. Healthcare is solid with DeKalb Regional Medical Center. Entertainment is cheap or free. Hiking, waterfalls, parks, local festivals. Monthly cost $900, $1,000 easily with money left over. Crime rate is low. Cost of living 23% below the national average. Fort Payne's secret weapon: location. You're right next to Little River Canyon National Preserve, DeSoto Falls, and hiking trails that look like screensavers. You get natural beauty without paying resort prices. Retirees here spend their time outdoors, at community events, and genuinely enjoying life without financial stress. One retiree said they traded a cramped Atlanta apartment for a house with a yard and a view. Retirement finally feels like retirement. Let's keep it real. Fort Payne is small and southern. Everyone knows everyone. Privacy is a concept, not a reality. It's conservative, religious, and slow-paced. And while the nature is stunning, the town itself is pretty basic. A Walmart, some local shops, diners. Don't expect trendy cafes or nightlife. The dream. Imagine waking up to mountain views. You brew coffee on your porch, listen to birds, feel cool morning air. You hike to a waterfall, stop at a diner for lunch, $7 for a plate that could feed 2 people. You go home, relax, and realize you haven't worried about money in months. Your rent is $600. Your life is full. You're not rich, but you're free. That's Fort Payne. It's not fancy. It's not trendy, but it's real, it's affordable, and it's proof that retiring on $1,000 a month in 2026 isn't a fantasy. It's just a matter of choosing the right place.